It's been said that Dayton needs a makeover, and as you can see, they're probably right. But even in the midst of it, we see things happening. And just as this neighborhood is getting a makeover, you too can receive a makeover. God says, "Behold, I make all things new." Today, I want you to listen to the message. Get ready for an extreme makeover. It can happen for you.
Find refuge, find strength, and find peace at Bethesda Temple, the home of grace.
You've been chosen to receive an extreme makeover.
Now, as John marveled over all of this newness he was looking at, he heard the one who sat on the throne say these words, "Behold, I make all things new." Now, many Bible versions translate that statement as, "Behold, I am making all things new." But I believe that the King James Version has this verse correct. I believe it because he wasn't making anything new at that point in time. John said, "I saw a new heaven. I saw a new earth." It was already done. And I further believe that God was not simply speaking of what he had just done, but I think God was speaking of his style of doing things. God was saying to John, making things new is what I do. He said to John, "Behold, see, I make all things new." I want to serve notice on you today that we serve a God of new things. We serve a God who keeps things fresh and exciting. And even when our things are old and broken, we can bring them to him and he makes all things new. My. I hope y'all feel or get to feel what I'm feeling right now. This text in the book of Revelation shows us that God can make all things new. But this is not the first time that we see God making things new. As a matter of fact, this is really how we first find God. The study of applied hermeneutics teaches a principle that is called the law of first mention. That principle instructs us that when the Bible first mentions a principle or a doctrine, it will remain the same throughout the Bible. When we first see God, he is doing his creative and recreative thing. Consider Genesis chapter number 1. In the very beginning, the very opening scriptural overture, it is stated, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." In these first two verses, we witness the creation of heaven and earth. We also witness the renovation of the earth. I don't know about you, but I believe that there is a span of time between Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. When God created heaven and earth, they were as perfect as the new heaven and the new earth that were described in our text. But something happened. Notice, if you will, Nothing had to be done with heaven in Genesis chapter number 1. But an extreme makeover had to be done on earth. Many believe that Genesis 1 verse 2 and downward was simply an explanation of how God created the earth. But a closer inspection of the text in Genesis will present another possibility. May I share it with you? This is how Moses, who is purported to have written the book of Genesis, opened the book. Moses wrote, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Stop. In the beginning, God, he created the heavens and the earth. Full stop. To kill and to destroy. This is what the devil does. He is bent on destruction. Satan wreaked havoc in heaven when he led a rebellion of 1/3 of the angelic host in a revolt against the true and living God. The devil wreaked havoc when he fell like lightning to the earth, and he continues to wreak havoc in the lives of God's people. That's why you're going through what you're going through right now. That is why you're fighting tooth and nail just to survive. That's why you're doing all you can just to stay afloat in this storm that you found yourself in. Satan is a destroyer. His intentions are clearly defined in Scripture. Again, let me borrow the words of Jesus in John 10 and 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. In these words, Jesus tells us what this thief is intent upon. He comes to steal. He comes to kill. He comes to destroy. These intentions, stealing, killing, destroying, are demonstrated to us in startling detail in the story of Job. Can I talk about Job for just a little bit? Job is the quintessential, the book of Job is the quintessential example of Satan's intense and vehement hatred for those who love God. Not only does Job exemplify, though, Satan's hatred of God's children, Job also delineates the operations of Satan that were identified by Jesus in St. John chapter 10, verse number 10. Remember what John 10 and 10 says about the thief. He cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and destroy. Y'all forgive me. I got to take a little time with this because I want you to get to where I need you to go so that you can get your makeover. Who's looking for a makeover in your situation? If you're looking for a makeover, I need you to stay with me for just a little bit.